It's not good. Let me just get that out of the way really quickly. This Pokemon is not good in Ultra League. But the game doesn't like giving me any of the useful hundos, like a Pidgey or, I don't know, a Vullaby. I've been looking for those for forever. I can't seem to get one. So when I got this hundo Dedenne, I got super excited about it, of course. I rarely get any of the good hundos. And I've been wanting to try this thing in Ultra League, specifically Ultra League Premier. I've been waiting for Ultra League Premier to come back because this thing is definitely not going to do anything in Open Ultra League. But I have been saving the excels for it for quite a while now. I finally have enough for it. I maxed it out. It is a hundo, and we are going to use it in today's video in the Ultra League Premier. Now, you might notice I don't have the usual infographics on my screen, and that is because I basically end up changing the team like 10 times in this video because building a team around this Pokemon was very difficult. It has so many weaknesses. It's going to be weak to ground and poison mostly. So the Pokemon I'm going to need cover for are going to be Venusaur, Tentacruel, Stunfisk, Swampert, and as we're seeing on the screen right now, I already ran into a ground type. We run into a Gliscor, and Gliscor here is actually really good against my entire team. The first team I was running was actually kind of weird. It's similar to a team I was running in Open Ultra League where I had Annihilate on the lead with 2 electric types in the back, but the second electric type I chose was Unova Stunfisk because I wanted the coverage for poison types, and I was like, oh, Unova Stunfisk is a ground type, it'll cover for the poison types. And then I put Annihilate on the lead because I also needed something that was going to be good against ice types, specifically Alolan Sandslash, because Alolan Sandslash has access to that drill run and the backline is going to be very weak to it. I also felt like Unova Stunfisk and Annihilate would cover for the steel type weakness that Dedenne wasn't going to deal with very well. But as you can probably tell, the team still had coverage issues because the entire team was going to be weak to a lot of the grass types in the meta. So if I saw a Trevenant or a Venusaur, I was really going to struggle. Oh, and did I mention we were weak to Gliscor? Yeah, and we get that in the first game. How nice. You guys, I went into this so positive. I thought Dedenne was actually going to perform kind of well in Ultra League Premier, and at first my goal was just to get like 1 positive set with it. But the more I played with it, the more I realized that wasn't going to be a reality. And then I really had to scale back my expectations, and I just wanted 1 win with this thing. That's it. That's all I wanted. We do get that 1 win. You guys will see soon. And it was the closest game I have ever played in my life. Literally, I have never played a game closer than that game. And guys, I was a few wins away from Expert when I first started using Dedenne. I was performing really well in the Great League with a team that I had mentioned a couple days ago. I posted it on my community page on YouTube. And that team was doing really well, so I could have continued with that. I think I would have made it to Expert if I didn't do whatever I'm doing here. I didn't go on my fun little journey with this cute little mouse. It's so cute, by the way. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to max it out and try to make it work. But I guess I decided I didn't want to get to Expert because, who needs that? We could always get to it later. Anyways, I just wanted to have fun. This video is just meant to be fun, even though we lose most of the games. And yeah, let's just get into these battles. As you saw in the previous game, actually, we did run into that Trevenant and it basically destroyed the entire team. Now for this next game, I decided I needed coverage for the grass types, so I replaced Annihilate with Dragonite. I don't know what I was thinking. This team is extremely squishy, and now that I've put Dragonite on the lead, if I see 1 Alolan Sandslash, I'm gonna get wrecked. But we are going to be up against a Feraligatr in this first game, and I did let that crunch go on Dragonite because I want to save shields for my Dedenne, and also my opponent didn't build up to an Ice Beam, so I knew it wasn't going to be Ice Beam. But my opponent is going to go ahead and throw a Hydro Cannon on Dedenne. I do shield it, and then they swap into a Clefable. Clefable is very bulky, so Dedenne is not going to be able to do enough damage to this Clefable to take it out. We land a Play Rough, we also land a Discharge, it's still not enough. Now I have to bring Stunfisk in against this Clefable because, Dragonite kinda doesn't like to see Fairy types, and Clefable is absolutely going to wreck Dragonite. And also I have to take a Moonblast on Sunfist, so now I have 2 Pokemon that are in the yellow. My opponent is going to have an Annihilate in the back, and because of how squishy Dragonite is, the Annihilate is able to counter our Dragonite down, and unfortunately Sunfisk is not going to be healthy enough to take care of the 2 Pokemon that my opponent has left. So I just top left there. There's really not much I can do. Now, of course, I'm going to change the team around again. I thought maybe Jellicent would work well with Dedenne because it will be good against poison types. It's also going to be good against Swampert and Stunfisk. Unfortunately, Dedenne and Jellicent are both going to be weak to grass types, so this team I'm running right now is ABA weak to grass. I'm just hoping I don't see any grass types. We are going to be up against a fellow YouTuber, and it looks like I'm basically going to give him a free win here because he leads Magnezone into Dedenne. I have nothing, again, on the team for Magnezone because I took that fighter off my team. I took the Unova Stunfisk off the team as well. Again, Dedenne's typing is so difficult to build a team around. So I just bring in my Shadow Dragonite and I just hope that I can do enough damage to this Magnezone to get it really low at least. We're not able to take it out completely. I have to bring in Dedenne here and take whatever this is. It is a wild charge. It's resisted and it still does so much damage. And my opponent has that dreaded Venusaur in the back. You're welcome, Jonkus, for the free win. I hope you enjoyed that. GG's. Anyways, of course, I'm going to switch up the team again. I was thinking of pairing Dedenne with Alolan Sandslash, but again, that would be ABA weak to fire types, especially Skeledirge. Dedenne might be able to take care of the fire flying types like Charizard and Talonflame, but I really didn't want to have to deal with a Skeledirge with these two. Also, with Alolan Sandslash being a steel type, it was going to have that ground type weakness, so if I saw a Swampert, you know, the team was still quite weak to Swampert. Anyways, I end up putting Skeledirge on my team, which doesn't make sense because now I'm ABA weak to Swampert, so I really don't know what I accomplished here. Anyways, in the next game, we are going to see an Alolan Ninetales on the lead. It is going to be Shadow, and they are going to, first off, they're going to outbulk us. Second, they are going to be doing more damage to us because those charms are, oh my goodness, they are hurting. So I decided to let Dedenne go here, and I was really hoping I could farm that Alolan Ninetales down with my Skeledirge, but they swap out into a Charizard. They go ahead and they shield the Shadow Ball, of course. I'm going to go ahead and shield whatever this is because I really need this to take care of the Alolan Ninetales, and yeah, I'm going to go for another Shadow Ball here, hoping my opponent lets their Charizard go. They do. We're able to take the Charizard out. But speak of the devil, it is going to be a Shadow Swampert in the back. We're not going to be able to align our Dragonite to it. They still had a very healthy Alolan Ninetales in the back, so we're just going to get destroyed there. And that's going to be 0 wins in that set. I didn't want Expert anyways, it's fine. Anyways, the next team I decide to run is going to be a Double Dragon line, and guess what Double Dragon is going to be weak to? Alolan Sandslash. And I haven't been seeing Alolan Sandslash, so I was like, okay, let me just try running the Double Dragon backline. How bad can it be? Well, we see the Alolan Sandslash in the first game that we play with the 2 Dragon types. Anyways, I go for a Discharge on the Alolan Sandslash to weaken it a little bit. It does a laughable amount of damage, by the way. This Discharge does like nothing to the Alolan Sandslash. And then I swap into my Kingdra because Kingdra is going to take neutral from the Ice Punches. And yeah, my opponent swaps into a Poliwrath, and Poliwrath is super bulky, so they're able to take our Kingdra out. And then I brought Dedenne back into Alolan Sandslash, and I let whatever my opponent was going to throw go on Dedenne because in my mind I could probably double shield Dragonite, and Dragonite would be able to do enough damage to the Alolan Sandslash to take it out. And then I was really hoping whatever my opponent had in the back I could take care of with Dragonite, but the Golisopod that they have in the back is going to be doing neutral damage with the Aerial Aces to Dragonite. Again, Dragonite is super squishy, and I'm just not going to be able to have enough bulk to take care of the team that my opponent had. Moving on to the next match, I am going to be embarrassing myself in front of my Battle Frontier teammates, And I am the Ultra League specialist on my Battle Frontier team, by the way, so really representing myself well in this game, aren't I? Anyways, my opponent is going to lead Komao into Dedenne, so it looked like we got a really nice lead there, and then they swap into Ampharos. Now, Dedenne technically walls Ampharos if they are running Thunder Punch and Brutal Swing. However, again, this is going to be an issue of bulk. I lose this game because of an issue of bulk. Dedenne does not have enough bulk to handle the Pokemon that, on paper, it would technically beat. So the Ampharos, I knew I wasn't going to be able to take care of it. So I swap into my Kingdra because, again, Kingdra is going to be slightly bulkier than Dragonite. So I felt like I could take those Thunder Punches a lot better with Kingdra. But I still had to give up a shield there to maintain alignment, which is not great for me. My opponent is also going to have a Greedent in the back. Again, really bulky Pokemon and super spammy. The Body Slams are absolutely going to hurt my Dragonite. At least we're able to take the Greedent out, but my opponent still has a shield, and they are going to be able to reach a close combat on our Dedenne. Even though Dedenne is still in the yellow and it technically resists close combat, it does not have the bulk to deal with it. Again, this is a team that maybe on paper I could have won against. I had the typing advantages and I had the alignment, but I did not have the bulk. Moving on to the next match, we are going to see the Shadow Magnezone on the lead, which is going to be good against my entire team. I immediately swap Kingdra into it, and I let the Wild Charge go, saving my shields for the two squishy Pokemon that I have in the back. And my opponent is going to bring a Poliwrath in, and I was really hoping the Octazooka would debuff the Poliwrath. Unfortunately, we don't get the debuff, and at this point, I've just given up, so I'm not shielding anything, but my opponent does go for an Icy Wind. It is going to be debuffing us, but I am going to go for Play Rough here. It is not going to quite take the Poliwrath out. I'm not sure if it would have taken them out anyways without the debuff. Poliwrath is quite bulky. Here, I was just hoping that I would survive the Icy Wind because I had a Discharge, and I survived it with 1 HP. I swap out and I bank that Discharge. That is going to be very useful for me later, and my opponent is going to bring that Magnezone back in, and I was really thinking I would invest 2 shields into this Magnezone matchup, but my opponent builds up to 2 moves, and because they did this, they allowed me to KO the Magnezone with a Dragon Breath before they could throw their second move. So I go ahead and I shield the Wild Charge. I'm able to take the Magnezone out, and then I have a ton of energy for the Annihilate that they have in the back. I just needed 2 Dragon Claws, 1 to take their final shield and 1 to get the Annihilate low enough so that the Discharge from Dedenne would KO. It does, thank goodness, because I was really unsure if it was going to take that Annihilate out, but it did. Dedenne finally came through for me, and we're able to take that win. The most unexpected win, by the way. I really thought we weren't going to win that. At this point, I decided, you know what, that's enough. I got my win. I'm not going to play anymore. We're 100 points lower than what we started at. That's good enough. Anyways, maybe take pity on me and leave a like on this video because I lost so much elo. If you guys like my content, please consider subscribing. Maybe leave a like. It helps me out so much. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!